There was one event where we did 600 water bottles in 6 hours.
Isn't that one every like 40 seconds?
Yeah.
Bottles?
Yes.
Sequestered under railway arches in South London lies Good Empire, an all-in-one fabrication workshop that prides itself on never turning down a job. They're able to do this thanks in part to their range of Lotus Laser Systems. So I went to go and speak with the brilliant Jolie to find out more.
We've got a Lotus Meta D system. So we had a slightly custom built one made here, just so it would work really well in our studio. We do loads and loads of paper cutting on it. We have one client that gives us hundreds and hundreds of paper products per week that need cutting. So it kind of made sense to get this machine just because it cuts super quick. We also do lots of engraving on it, so does lots of water bottle engraving. It's basically taken off the anodized coating, leaves a really nice finish. Plotter engraver obviously has to run up and down, making a mark. That would probably take at least a few minutes. So when we're running jobs where we've got hundreds of water bottles, this machine is kind of perfect for that. See on the software here how long that took, and it was 21 seconds, which is super quick.
You've done a bit of a Pokemon with our lasers.
I have,
Bit of a gotta catch them all.
I've got to catch all the lasers, yeah. My Lotus collection started with a blue. I had a very, very large order come through. I sent a bunch of inquiries out. Dean was by far the quickest to reply and most helpful. I think between the time of me talking to him and getting the machine, I would say was 3 or 4 days, because I took the demo machine and I was desperate. So I'm not trying to say you can all get your Lotuses in 3 or 4 days. I'm trying to say that that's the level of help I got because I was desperate, basically. So that project I was working on at the time, there ended up being hundreds of products we had to engrave for them. Dean said, why don't you come and test out one of our Galvo lasers, because that will engrave it much, much quicker. I was engraving these products in, say, a minute or less, whereas on the plotter they were taking, I think, almost near 10 minutes. So it made me just able to clear that job so quickly. You're going to blink and miss this because it's so quick. But we basically get it starting to go. You should be able to kind of watch it through there, but it's already done. Quality on that, I don't think you can beat that. One of our big clients, Wingback, very, very high-end, really beautiful hip flasks, pens. They make all their products in the UK, so they're very keen on quality and like precision engineering. They had samples done elsewhere, were not necessarily happy with them. So they came to me a few years ago and we spent a lot of time getting really, really perfect engraves on them. The logos and things they put on their products are very, very small. So this is kind of the perfect machine for getting that really tiny, tiny detail. Some of their customers also have a personalization. We can set this up so that when we change the part each time, it automatically brings in the next name so that you're not typing in each name. So if you're doing hundreds of products a week like this that we are, it's a little automation that really saves a bit of time. This is the hip flask lid, or the other end of it, so it works as a bottle opener. What Wingback wanted was the ability to inscribe round the product here, have their logo, and then they also have a design on the other level. The great thing about something like this machine is we can put the part in and we can program it to mark at different heights. So it will move the head down, engrave the lower part, and then it will move up and engrave the upper part, basically. So you can get it all done in one job. Yeah, you get very, very tiny detail in there. And what I was talking about earlier about having made in England, that's what we have on tiny little parts that go inside the pens as well. I've had this for a number of years now, still working the same as the day I got it, basically, which is great. We ended up getting other lasers because we moved into doing a lot of event work, so this kind of event engraving sort of thing. So this is a U-Meta and this is a Nano. And basically both really, really good for engraving metals. We do some plastics, things like that on them. We ended up getting both because we do so much events work. So we take the engravers out and engrave products on site for people. So we do loads and loads of brand activations. We do product launches. We go in store to add personalizations for people. It's a really, really popular part of our business style. So we ended up getting the Nano in addition because the footprint size is so small. So you can just lift this onto a counter, so you can have it in a shop and it doesn't look too invasive. It doesn't need so much kit with it, basically. The quality of the engrave is really, really impressive. And when people leave with their product, they're incredibly happy with it. Different products are being thrown at us all the time. What's been great is that Joseph's always on hand to kind of give me some guidance on how how would we try the settings, because with the fibers, they're sort of more complex to program than say the blue is. Since we do so much stuff on site for people now, we've got quite a good reputation for being, you know, the people you would call to do personalization at these kind of events. Say 9 times out of 10, we end up taking the nano if we can, because the speed that you can do engraving on products is just so quick compared to something like embroidery. Or heat press or any of these other things. So the setup time is very minimal, and then you can just process hundreds and hundreds of things per day. There was one event where we did 600 water bottles in about, I think it was in 6 hours. It was for an Offspring launch, like a trainer company basically. The actual engraved time, if you're just doing a short name or initials, you can do them within 10 seconds, some of them. Especially for influencer events, we've had to explain to the person what's going to happen because they all want to video it. What the problem was before, we would run it and then they would be going, oh, it's done. And they'd be really disappointed because they missed it. We have had a large number of people in the past come to us and say, I bought a laser, it's worked for 6 months, it now doesn't work. Can you please cut our things out for us? I've also had people DM me and say, why is my engraving not as good as yours? I've been doing this 15 years, so I have experience in it. That's a big part of it. And I think people just don't understand that investing in the right equipment, it's going to save money down the line. I know a lot of people that have ended up buying, you know, a cheap laser from overseas, but then they don't know how to fix it. And so they end up with a big paperweight basically. So we have a service agreement, so we get it looked at regularly. Things like that have just been really helpful because there's been no downtime. We might have to wait a day or two to get an engineer out, but there are other companies you'd be waiting a week for somebody to come help you on it and stuff. We just can't have that kind of downtime. We've had a lot of help with settings and testing product. For me, that's really beyond the sale. That's just like good business to keep someone happy. You know, they want us to use the machine to its best ability. Because of the R&D, you're obviously bringing out new things every year. We'll use this until we suddenly need one of these plate movers and all this stuff, and then we'll get another one. So
or a UV.
Or a UV, exactly, yeah. I've got no plan to ever change to a different company who make this kind of machine. There's like no chance that would happen.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for having me in, showing me the machines.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing what Good Empire, how the Good Empire will grow in the future.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.